easily. And like, if you're watching the stream and you're like, well, I want to learn how to half flip, let's just fucking, here. I'm just gonna demo it. You know, maybe we can save it as a highlight or something and just pin it to the channel, because it's a really surprisingly easy mechanic. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to free play, right? So the basics of a half flip is that there is an animation, right? Like if you jump and then jump forward, it does the whole flip, right? And you're gonna end up at the end of that flip, if you don't put in any other input, you're gonna end up kind of flat and driving forward the same way that you were, right? It's no input other than the initial kind of jump forward. If I were to do that again and immediately pull backwards on the stick, the opposite input of the jump, the input from the controller triggers in time to cut off basically the second half of that jump. So if you're quick enough about it, you can jump forward and hold back. And see, I'm a little wiggly on mine. I'm not great at it. But like, this is the mechanic, okay? So we're jumping forward and then just holding back, right? So that I'm landing like I'm landing. And literally just do that like 5-10 times. Get familiar with that motion. So, boom. That's all you're doing, okay? Now we're gonna do it on a backward flip. It's the same thing, just we're jumping backwards and then pushing forwards. We want to land upside down, facing exactly the opposite direction on the roof of your car. So, again, that's it. Right? But now here's the kicker that I think a lot of lower players don't know and a lot of upper players ignore, because they're like better at it and all that. So the easy half flip, and this is probably a bad habit I'm teaching, so like feel free to take this back to your Rocket League coach and have them reprimand you for learning it this way. But what I have is I have air roll right on my right bumper, okay? So when I do that half flip motion like that, all you're gonna toss in is, as you're straightening out, you hold down that right. That's it, and you've just learned how to half flip. Bada bing, bada boom. I think that was 2 minutes. Now, you'll notice, because I am stupid and learned this in this kind of hacky way, I only ever, and you can chuckle at me for this too, I only ever half flip backwards to the right. Or rather, yeah, pretty much. Which is bad, right? Like, ideally, I could do either direction, because there's some things that you can... you wiener. Because there are some things you can do with this, like intentionally skewing it to the left or the right, and getting a turn out of it, so that you can reposition more quickly to the left and to the right, and still be kind of facing, like, diagonally back towards your net. So there's a fair bit of like bullshit that you can do with this, right? But what I would recommend, literally, like the first time you want to learn this, is go to free play and spend, I'm not going to ask you to spend more than 5 minutes. Once you have this motion down, add the air roll right, and once you have a basic half flip done, do 100 half flips in a row immediately in succession, right? Like, you're not gonna take a long time to do them. They don't have to be pretty, but you're just gonna run them as fast as you can, back to back, as like frequently as you can. And the reason that you're doing that is because it's about timing, right? So you'll notice that like there's actually ways to glitch this out. So there's like a long kind of aside to this where like people are half flipping, quarter flipping, where like they can figure out how to stop their flip in any direction much faster than I'm able to. But all you want to get used to is the timing of it and how it feels on your hands, right? Like where you're just forming a muscle memory. And obviously you're not going to like immediately use this at a champion level. You're not going to be immediately half flipping your way to fucking champ. But the idea here is just to get your fingers and like hands used to that action, right? Because it's going to feel really weird at first. It really is. But the more that you can practice it and throw it into gameplay, the more comfortable you're going to be doing other shit with it. So, for example, backwards half flips are really good for launching balls high into the air for aerials that your opponents don't expect. So if you can kind of get like a good little dribble on the back of your car and then do a half flip backwards, like, you're going to be turned around facing the correct direction. You don't have to use boost, and you're going to get a big fucking yeet up to the ceiling, at which point you can then, once you land, just immediately like double jump, pull back, and go straight up for it. And so you can like go from dangling someone's ankles into the next dimension straight into dangling their teammates' ankles into the next dimension with like a quick aerial follow-up. And I think this is why I love this